Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video I am sharing with you my top 10 travel apps, and I'm trying to use this screen record function on my iPhone for the first time, so just bear with me and hopefully it all works out and I can like edit it together and make it look all cool and fun, and it'll be like on the side somewhere, I don't know which side. But yeah, without further ado, let's just jump into it. Okay, so let's just press the screen record button. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we are recording. So let's open up my little travel folder. So these are in no particular order, and none of these are relatively new. They're just ones that I like to use, and I just thought I'd show you how I use them. So I'm going to try and keep this really brief and not go too intense. So the first one I have here is my InNew Zealand app. I just use InNew Zealand app because I am from New Zealand and that is my major carrier that I use pretty often. Obviously just get whatever one that you use often. And yeah, so I can see my flights on here, use it to check in, see the booking references and all the details of the flights. And you can press bookings and see the flights in a list. I can see deals, so from InNew Zealand, all the latest deals, the price estimations and the travel periods. You can also book, but it kind of just takes you from the app onto the websites that you can book those things from. And then I can see my air points and like how much is happening there, and extra stuff that I don't really use is in the more section. And then the top right hand corner is your notifications, so if your flight is boarding it will send you a little notification and then come up there to say that it's boarding. Okay, so my next app that I have is the XE currency converter. It's pretty self-explanatory what you use this for. It's to convert currency. Basically you can load up to 10 currencies at once, use it offline or online. When you're online it updates like every minute, like the live currency updates. But yeah, when you're offline it doesn't update, but you know, if you update at the start of the day before you leave like your hostel or Airbnb or whatever with the Wi-Fi, and then when you go out you can just use it. This was really helpful for me when I was going to market or going out to restaurants. I could quickly convert the price of something on my phone, and then I would know if I could afford it or not, or if it was worth the money. So yeah, you just press edit to change the currencies, press done. There's a bunch of other things at the bottom there that I don't use, but yeah, as you can see I've got US dollars, New Zealand dollars, some currencies from my previous trip, and then I also have GBP and the South African Rand just because I'm planning some stuff for my next trip. I've also got Vietnamese dong there because I went to Vietnam a few months ago. Alright, so the next one I have is Visited. So there's a couple of different apps like this. I know another one is called Bean, B-E-E-N. But it just is a way to keep track of all the places that you've been to and places you want to go and where you live. Well, you know where you live, so or for example if you're moving around to different countries then you could change like your living country. So yeah, as you can see I have New Zealand as orange there because that is where I live. And then Australia is green because I've been there. There's Philippines as well, a few other countries I've been to. And then the purple ones are the ones I want to go to. So there's some in Africa, Russia, Canada. There's obviously tons of countries I want to go to, but I don't really have them all filled in right now. But it tells you at the bottom I've been to 21 countries. Goal 11 left. My rank is 21.78%. Don't really pay attention to that. If you press on the top left hand corner it can tell you you've seen 8.3% of the world, edit your list to customize, etc. So yeah, it's just kind of nice to know where you've been and then you can kind of look back. The next app that I have is Uber. Uber. Pretty self-explanatory. A lot of countries have their own versions of this. I know when I was in Peru I used one that was specific to Peru. I can't remember what it was now. I think it was like Easy Taxi or something like that. We also have like Zoomy in New Zealand, but I don't use that. But yeah, Uber is kind of like the top, most globally known one, I guess. In America they've got Lyft as well, and in Asia they've got Grab. So I used a Grab in Vietnam. I know they've got it in the Philippines, and yeah, so there's just lots, and it's just always good to have a ride app or ride sharing app, so that you can get places, especially when taxis are super expensive. The next one I have is Splitwise. So this is just good for if you are traveling in a group, or not even traveling in a group, if you're traveling and you meet some people and you want to buy some things together, like because it's cheaper if you guys like cooking one meal, you know what I mean. So you can just have friends, you can add friends from your contacts or invite them. Then you can start a group, and from that group then you add your purchases in. You can add photos of the receipts and all that stuff, and then it just divides it. Like, it's pretty easy. Let me see if I can add something. So I don't think I can show you without having a group, but basically let's say you bought some chips for $10. That's a ridiculously expensive bag of chips. But and you wanted to and like three or four of you were eating those chips, so you can say you can give it a title, chips. You can put in the amount, $10. Then you can put it in how many people it was split by, or like the percentage or the decimal, or the fraction. Like, there's lots of kind of dividing maths, I don't know. There's lots of ways to divide the bill up, or like, for example, if one person had wanted to pay for 2 portions of it instead of just 1 portion of it, you can do it like that. And then you can choose the people that you want to split it by, and yeah, it's like pretty easy. But yeah, that's kind of all I use it for. I just used it while I was in America with a few friends doing a road trip, so we used it for petrol and food and stuff as well. Next I have Google Maps. A lot of these are just like pretty standard use apps, but I find Google Maps particularly helpful just because it just has so much information. I find it really good to save things, so when I was looking for restaurants, or when I had hostels, I could like save a hostel to my places, and I had a little folder called hostels, and it would just come up with a little blue like flag where the hostel was on the map, and then you could download the map, so anytime you're out you can always know your way back to the hostel, and all that kind of stuff. And then you can use it for different places. Another way I used it was to take the metro. If you put in your like location and your destination, and then you click on the public transport app, in lots of major cities they'll have the metro like times and lines and directions. I think there's an alarm going on. The times, the lines, the directions of where to go and like how to get there. I used that in Mexico City, and it was so easy. I could just be like, want to go from my hostel to the shopping mall or like the main street in town, and it would tell me to get on, like walk 5 minutes to the metro, get on the metro, take this line for 3 stops, get off, change to this line, take that for 2 stops, and then you're there. Like, it was so simple and easy, and I loved using it like that. And those are basically the 2 main ways that I liked to use Google Maps. Then the next app I have is Skyscanner. I just use this for flights, but you can also use it for hotels and car hire. You just press flights and you can search. So this was just an example. You can search Auckland to London one way on Saturday 1st of June. It'll show you all the flights. You can sort it by price, rating, duration, outbound, takeoff time or landing time. You can filter the flights for different airlines or durations, stops, etc. I actually kind of like it says here, money saving tip, depart a day earlier and save 104 per person. So, you know, it like does try to help you get the best out of your flights. And not only does it show different flights from different airlines, it shows the flights, like that flight sold on different websites. So certain things might be cheaper. But yeah, basically that is all I use it for. You can go to explore and use the explore everywhere function if you don't know where you want to go, but you just have some money and some time off, and yeah, you can just see how much things cost, like how much the flight's going to cost from your current location, sorry, to any destination. Next app I have is Rome to Rio. So I already use Google Maps to kind of go from like A to B when I'm like in a location, and I use Skyscanner to go from A to B from like 2 long distance locations, obviously through flights. But Rome to Rio is really good if you have to get to a destination and you know you can't just get there by car, and you can't just, or like walking, or you can't just get there by flight. Like you might have to walk and then take a flight, then take a bus, then take a train, and like all this stuff. So you just enter a starting location. So let's say New York, and then let's say you want to go to London. So if you want to go from Nairobi, Kenya to Jinja in Uganda. So searching for that, the first option is a flight and then a bus. So I like this because it will give you a time estimate and a like cost estimate. So obviously it's a much more expensive to fly and then bus, but it's longer if you take a bus, but it's only, you know, not even like a tenth of the price, I guess. And also gives you drive just in case you've got a car and you want to drive. But yeah, it's just real handy if you know that you've got to take like multiple types of transport. Like for example, if you're going around Europe, it might actually be really handy to see, like if you wanted to go from Paris, France to Madrid, Spain, like is it cheaper to fly, bus or train? Because there'll be different options and it'll show you all of them, and then you can also set a date and see the specific ones for that date. So yeah, I find Rome to Rio probably one of the handiest apps, like that none of the other apps could do. Next I just got Hostel World. So Hostel World is one of many booking apps that you can use to book accommodation. This one is obviously specified to hostels, but super easy to use. You just press where you want to go. One thing I get really frustrated about all these booking apps and stuff is they put the default guest as 2. And hello, solo traveling, you know, the default guest should be 1. Or you can just explore destinations here. Then at the bottom you can sign in, and it's pretty easy. You can get them to send you emails, or you can use it, like add it to your calendar. Lots of good stuff. So for my last travel app that I have is TripAdvisor. Now I use TripAdvisor in a specific way, but you can use it for many different things. Okay, so the one way that I use it is basically to find restaurants close, like nearby. But you can use it for hotels, things to do, vacation rentals and flights. But I basically use it for restaurants. So you press restaurants, let's say London, England. So if you pick like cheap eats, see all, or you can search for like a specific type, like Italian or whatever, and then at the bottom here you can press map, and then you can like see where things are that are close to you, and then like it has the little many, like, has the name of the restaurant and the rating, and then like some of them have a little like caption, a taste of Italy in London, etc. And then there's an option to search this area, so basically that means like it'll show you most of the top rating ones when you first search, but if you zoom in a bit more, then you can press search this area and it will show you any extra ones that it didn't come up in the initial search. So it's just a bit more detailed of a certain area. If you've heard like, oh, this area is really good for restaurants, then you can do that. I know there's this app called Happy Cow, which is what it's got, like vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, all that stuff kind of restaurants. I'm nothing and I can eat anything I want, so I just use TripAdvisor to find my restaurants. And of course I can use Google as well, but I just kind of like the map function on TripAdvisor, especially if I want to look up specific types of restaurants. Anyways, I feel like that ended up being a little bit of a long video, but thanks for bearing with me, guys. I hope you found it interesting and helpful, and I'm sorry if I looked down a lot, but I'm just testing out this whole screen thing, and yeah, hopefully it works out. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I would love it if you would join our little gang over here at Adventures of Kate, and yeah, be sure to check out more videos, stay tuned for more videos, and I hope you found this kind of interesting. Smash the like button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Let's just skip to the